This year, a federal grand jury indicted the now retired bodyguard of New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. That indictment accuses Jeffrey Vappy of carrying out a romantic relationship with Mayor Cantrell while on the clock for the NOPD, then lying about it to the FBI. Many of the allegations in the indictment implicate Cantrell as well and mirror what we uncovered in our Outside the Office investigation. Here's a look back.
He's anxious to prove his innocence.
This year, a federal grand jury indicted the now retired bodyguard of New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. That indictment accuses Jeffrey Vappy of carrying out a romantic relationship with Mayor Cantrell while on the clock for the NOPD, then lying about it to the FBI. Many of the allegations in the indictment implicate Cantrell as well and mirror what we uncovered in our Outside the Office investigation. Here's a look back. August 2nd, 2022, one of the 22 days listed in the indictment when the U.S. government says NOPD officer Jeffrey Vappy fraudulently collected money from the NOPD while carrying out a relationship with Mayor Cantrell. At 8:03 in the morning, our reporting showed Mayor Cantrell arrived at the city-owned Upper Pentaba apartment with Officer Vappy. Both walked into the door that leads to the city's Upper Pentaba apartment, and for 5 hours and 40 minutes of his workday, Vappy stayed there. Vappy claimed to be on duty from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. that day, but again, for nearly 6 hours of his workday, he was paid to spend time inside the apartment with Mayor Cantrell. A public records request shows between 10 and 6 that day, the mayor didn't make or take one work call on her cell phones, and for those 8 hours only responded to 2 emails.
When you are staying in a taxpayer-owned building and you have employees that are paid by the taxpayers have a right to know what you are doing in that property, and the taxpayers have a right to know what duties you are performing during those hours.
Our investigation started back in 2022 by analyzing 45 days worth of video from a public security camera right outside the entrance to the city-owned apartment. We received the video through a public records request from the French Market Corporation. For the 35 days we spotted Cantrell at the apartment, Officer Vappy was there for 27 of them. Each day, the minimum amount of total time he spent there in one day was 1 hour and 1 minute. All totaled, in 27 days, he was inside for more than 112 hours. That video revealed out of the 4 officers paid to protect the mayor, Vappy was the only one who ever entered her apartment. August 16th of 2022, another date listed in the federal indictment. Vappy claimed to work from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. that day. But we found about an hour before he went on the clock, Vappy arrived at the apartment. 20 minutes before his NOPD shift started, Vappy and the mayor left in workout clothes. More than an hour later, 10 a.m., they returned to the Pentaba and stayed there for more than 4 hours. According to her city calendar, the mayor was scheduled to make welcome remarks at 9:30 a.m. at a Baptist Foreign Mission convention. During that time, she was in the Upper Pentaba with Officer Vappy as well. We confirmed with the convention she didn't make remarks, but sent someone else in her place. The mayor also missed a 1:15 p.m. pop-in meeting with Senator Bill Cassidy's team. At 2:16, there's Officer Vappy leaving the Pentaba, not wearing the workout clothes he arrived in, but instead a suit. 5 hours of his workday spent with the mayor, mostly inside the apartment. At 2:30, the mayor's calendar noted an in-person meeting about the Sewage and Water Board. 7 minutes after that meeting was supposed to start, the mayor left the apartment, dressed for work. According to our response to our records request, the mayor didn't send one email during that time, and the city says she didn't make one work phone call on her cell phones.
Taxpayers are wondering, is business getting done? If business is getting done, are you carrying out your official duties? Are you doing the taxpayers' business? If so, what business is being done?
Tuesday, August 9th of 2022, another day included in the indictment. Vappy arrived at the Upper Pentaba apartment just before 8 a.m. He wasn't listed as her security duty that day, but when the mayor arrived less than an hour later, they both stayed there most of the day. Vappy billed the NOPD for working 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. that day. The mayor had nothing scheduled on her calendar that morning, but did have 5 meetings later in the day. The first at 12:30, a regional planning commission meeting. 20 minutes after that meeting started, Cantrell sent an email saying she wouldn't be making it. She also had a 2 p.m. meeting scheduled with the head of the RTA, Alex Wiggins. At 12:53, she sent her scheduler an email. The subject line, phone disabled. The message asked her to reschedule that RTA meeting and said she would be in at 3:30 because she had to deal with a personal matter. Vappy left the Upper Pentaba at 3:09, the mayor at 3:39 p.m. From 8:42 in the morning until 3 o'clock, the mayor and Vappy were inside the Pentaba. City records show the mayor did not make one work phone call and only sent 3 emails, the 2 we told you about, and another at 12:31 about some streetlights not working. So according to records obtained from the city, for 6 hours of a workday, the mayor canceled 2 meetings, sent 3 emails, made no phone calls, and stayed in the Upper Pentaba with a member of her security team who was also on the clock getting paid at that time.
No phone calls, no meetings, no emails. What is he doing there? Why is he, of all the details that she's got, all the officers on detail, he's the only one that takes her into the apartment and stays there with her for hours? Is he there to protect her? And if she needs protection inside this apartment in the Pentaba, why is he the only one of her detail that ever goes in there? And why sometimes does he leave before she does, letting her walk out the door and walk to some other car blocks away, unprotected by him?
But there's more.
Thank you, Mr. Vappy, for joining the board.
In March of 2022, the mayor appointed Vappy to the board of the Housing Authority of New Orleans. Here's audio of him attending his first meeting.
Commissioner Vappy.
Vappy, present.
According to his LinkedIn page, Vappy doesn't have any experience in public housing, but the mayor still appointed him to the board.
It is, generally speaking, not the norm to appoint public employees to public boards, again, because there's just too much of a potential legal conflict of interest.
We found Vappy attended at least 3 meetings at his volunteer position on the Hano board while being paid by taxpayers to protect and serve. Participation in those meetings is also part of the federal government's fraud case against Vappy. Vappy resigned from the Hano board in May of last year.
Well, I think taxpayers would say if he's a police officer, why isn't he doing police work?
In a review of Vappy's timesheets and other public records, we found dozens of examples of Vappy working long hours, collecting thousands in overtime, even on days the mayor had a light schedule, and sometimes on days when Vappy wasn't even responsible for protecting her. One example, in early April 2022, Vappy traveled with the mayor to San Francisco for a conference on climate change. The meeting wrapped up on Friday at noon, but the two didn't leave until the next night, taking a red-eye back on Saturday night at 11:05. The flight landed at 5:22 a.m. back in New Orleans. We've confirmed it was on time. The day of that 5:22 a.m. arrival back home, Vappy stayed on the clock until 12 that night. So on Saturday and Sunday, when all he apparently did was fly on a plane from San Francisco back to New Orleans, taxpayers paid Vappy for 30 hours of work, 15 hours on Saturday, another 15 on Sunday. Before joining Mayor Cantrell's security team, Vappy made around $75,000 a year. Vappy started protecting the mayor in late May of 2021. That year, his total take-home pay jumped to $105,000. In 2022, he made more than $110,000. After rejecting our repeated requests for an interview and comment, we finally showed up to a press conference.
Mayor Cantrell, you say you're working 24/7, and the records show that you spend a lot of the workday at the Upper Pentaba apartment with an NOPD officer. The city has crime and infrastructure issues. You've spent nearly 20% of the year out of town or out of the country, many of those trips with an NOPD officer. Is any of that appropriate?
So, Mr. Zurich, thank you for being here. It kind of freaks me out to see you, quite frankly, because you've been very inappropriate, in my opinion. But relative to your accusations, none of them add up at all.
The mayor did not dispute any of the facts we reported, but after a 1-minute response that didn't address any findings in our story,
But in regards to my work for the city of New Orleans, it's really unmatched.
she wouldn't allow us to ask another question like every other reporter in the room.
We're on a great trajectory, and the best is yet to come. Thank you so much.
So again, Ms. Mayor.
Thank you very
I thought I
much.
get a follow-up question.
No, thank you.
Why don't everybody else gets a follow-up. Why don't I get a follow-up question?
Sir, you're the one who touts having over 680 hours of me, filming me, at an apartment, sir, that I have, the authority to use in my capacity as mayor of the city of New Orleans. So, sir, you've done more than any other reporter in this room that has been, in my opinion, in violation of me as a human being. So with that, sir, thank you very much.
It's a public property and it's public.
Thank you very much,
It's
sir.
a public
Thank
records
you.
request. We got
Thank
the
you,
video
sir.
via public
And
records request.
we know, and thank you very much.
Former Mayor Mark Morial, who served as mayor from 1994 to 2002, told us he didn't recall spending a single night there and that the apartment wasn't meant to be a residence for the mayor.
It was intended to be a place to entertain or a place where guests could spend a night. Maybe a mayor could spend a night there, here or there, if it was necessary to make a public appearance in the area. But it was never meant to be a residence for the mayor of the city of New Orleans, period.
Following our reports, the New Orleans City Council passed an ordinance that limited the use of the apartment, not allowing any more overnight stays. But we uncovered over Essence Festival weekend in July 2023, the mayor and relatives and friends stayed at the apartment. There's the mayor and a member of her executive protection team wheeling in her suitcase. On Sunday, July 2nd, there's the mayor and 4 women arriving at 1:55 a.m. The lights going out at 4:12. The mayor didn't leave until that Sunday morning at 10:02.
Well, it looks bad because it's a very clear law, and it appears that the mayor is deliberately violating the law.
After that violation, the city council took the apartment away from the mayor, giving it back to the French Market Corporation.
I think for a lot of council members and the public, the fact that you immediately saw it revert to personal use with no public purpose is what really was the straw that broke the camel's back.
The head of the Metropolitan Crime Commission thinks Cantrell will eventually be indicted as well, and that the FBI could use evidence collected in the investigation into Vappy as part of any future indictment. Vappy's indictment alleges he and the mayor exchanged numerous voice messages where each utilized romantic terms of endearment and expressed their love.
I think it's safe to know that they've known for quite some time that there was a federal investigation, as evidenced by the fact that both the mayor and Officer Vappy hired criminal defense attorneys last year. But I don't believe that either of them realized the extent of the government's case included their cell phone communications, text messages, photographs, and voice messages. So, and that's evident by the fact that you're seeing the government citing events that occurred in April of this year. So after they have lawyered up, so to speak, they still continue to communicate using their cell phones.
Which the government had access to.
Yes, exactly.
Shortly before the indictment, Fox 8 reported on photos of Cantrell and Vappy dining at 2 French Quarter restaurants, both while Vappy was on the clock. Vappy was reassigned, and a Public Integrity Bureau investigation ultimately found 13 violations, including that Vappy claimed overtime while not actually working, and that he consumed alcohol while on the clock. Again, all reported by Fox 8. Vappy retired from the NOPD before that investigation was complete. Before Vappy's indictment, the U.S. Attorney sent 2 subpoenas to Fox 8 asking for copies of our outside the office reports. Fox 8 complied, handing over that video. Our stories launched FBI investigations into both Cantrell and Vappy, leading to Vappy's indictment. Sources tell us the investigation into Cantrell is ongoing, but includes questions about how the mayor spent time outside the office.